distinguished Senator Yaram Sahabi. He is the Deputy Minority Whip with the white cap.
Your Excellency, we are here this morning to pay a courtesy call on you. I had made the request earlier. We are holding the Expo, what we have called the International Ombuds Expo. That is an occasion organized for ombudsmen all over the world to come and exhibit what they do and how they do their work. Your Excellency, it is the first ever in the history of ombudsman since the 19th century that an event such as this is holding. What has been the norm is for talk shops, workshops, and seminars. And sometimes early this year it was thought that for once to further educate and enlighten the general public on the operations of the ombudsman, it was important that they should, move a step further by exhibiting so that people, members of the public, can actually interact with them as they operate and ask questions where there is need. And kindly, Nigeria was selected to host this occasion. Part of it was that for several years, Nigeria had been absent from the international ombuds arena, and we had just gotten back there, and we were trying to make an impact. First of all, I was elected the regional coordinator for West Africa of the African Ombudsman Association, by virtue of which I oversee the West African sub-region. So that gave us a standing at the international arena. And secondly, one of the major actors in the organization of this event is a professor of Nigerian instruction, Professor Victor Ayeni. So we were able to collaborate, and eventually he found us capable of hosting the world. So, Your Excellency, this event is comprised of three things. First is the exhibition. So at Sheraton Hotel, every country that is here, most countries that are here, have a booth in which they have exhibited the works, how they work, and they are receiving guests, participants, and members of the general public, and explaining to them how they operate. The second aspect of the Expo is that delegations will be visiting ombuds-related institutions in Nigeria. Nigeria being a vast country, there are many times when you are out there, they ask you, how do you operate an ombudsman in a country such as Nigeria? And so Nigeria has, apart from the actual office of the ombudsman, which is the Public Complaints Commission, we have the EFCC, the ICPC, the Code of Conduct Bureau, and Code of Conduct Tribunal. So they are interested in seeing how all these agencies operate together and how we're able to cover a vast country like Nigeria with 36 states. And that is the interest that brings about the visit to these ombuds-related institutions. The third aspect of it is that delegations will be given an opportunity to visit places of tourist interest. We are working in collaboration with the EFCC and the FCTA, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, who is organizing the visits to the various places. They are also taking charge of security, medical, and transportation committees. Your Excellency, we have delegations from 58 countries across the world, both in Africa. As a matter of fact, only 2 continents are not represented, one of which, not surprisingly, Antarctica, where you have few people. There are hardly at occasions, but all the other continents, Your Excellency, are represented at this gathering. Today is the third day of the occasion because on Monday we had the Executive Committee meeting of the African Ombudsman and Mediators Association meeting, which preceded the formal opening of the Expo yesterday. So these delegations, you see, Your Excellency, from different countries of the world and different continents. And together we are here to discuss the development of the Ombudsman and the differentials in operations in the various jurisdictions. It is found important, Your Excellency, in most countries, the Ombudsman is a parliamentary institution, that a courtesy call should be paid on you as head of the Nigerian Parliament. That, therefore, Your Excellency, is the essence of the visit. But since the delegation, I am a Nigerian, so I'm already here, we will request the Public Protector for South Africa. That is the title of the Ombudsman for South Africa, Public Protector. She will be formally addressing you on behalf of the international delegation. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. I have the permission of...
the members of the media, the counterparts, the Ombudsman. We are here, as the Chief Ombudsman has indicated. We are attending this very first in Africa, which has been organized by our own from Africa and inviting the international world. We also have Justice Mumba from Zambia, who was the first Ombudsman of Zambia and currently in Cambodia representing Africa. So we pride ourselves with her as well. I will in fact, they will introduce themselves, but then in short, I will just also say IOMA, the African Ombudsman and Mediators Association, was established in 2003. We've got 45 member states who are part of IOMA, and we have 6 regions or regional coordinators. I am the president of IOMA as the Public Protector South Africa. The vice president is from Burkina Faso, and the second vice president is from Sudan, but then we've just replaced that ombudsman with the ombudsman of Libya because of the challenges in Sudan and the removal of that ombudsman. And then we've got the Secretary General from Kenya and the Deputy Secretary General from Seychelles. And we have the Treasurer from Malawi, the Ombudsman of Malawi. She's also here. Deputy Treasurer is from Central African Republic. The Chief Ombudsman is representing or coordinating the West African region. We've got the North African region, which was held by Libya, but will be replaced from them. They will indicate who is representing them. We've got the Southern African Ombudsman, in fact, the region coordinated by the Ombudsman of Botswana. Honorable Makgona Tsotle is also here. And then the Western Africa, I've indicated. And then East African is the regional coordinator from Rwanda. We also have the Indian Ocean region is coordinated by Madagascar. And we are operating within the OR Tambo minimum standards, which are there in the African Union, Article 15, relating to how ombudsmen should operate. We promote good governance, human rights, the rule of law in our various countries. And I would want to say we contributing to Agenda 2063. And we have a research center in KwaZulu-Natal University, which trains all our ombudsmen. It's relevant or is responsible for research, for information sharing, for capacity building, which is training. And that research center, I'm the chairperson of it. We have partnered with the Chief Ombudsman and Professor Ayeni to organize this event, and also the International Ombudsman Institute, where Public Protector of Zambia, Madam Sakoni, is the president of the African part, and they've also contributed and made it possible. Thank you so much for allowing time to meet with us, and we appreciated that as Africa, we are here to support you as the elected representatives of your citizens. We are there to strengthen your constitutional democracy, and we are here to make sure that we create the Africa we want as Africans. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Our own Chief Ombudsman, Honorable Chief Chile Igbawua. Let me welcome the greatest peacemakers of the world. You the various ombudsmen of our various countries, you are welcome to the Senate. On behalf of my colleagues and indeed the National Assembly, I want to warmly welcome you here today. And this is a very historic courtesy visit to us. Members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Let me also join your facilitator, who is the Chief Ombudsman of Nigeria, to tell you that we are indeed very grateful that you are here in our country. Our country, Nigeria, has been given the opportunity to host this very important Expo. We will continue to be a very active member of the international body, and will continue to support our Public Complaints Commission, which is the ombudsman body that represents Nigeria. Here in Nigeria, we have the Public Complaints Commission as the institution properly recognized by law as our ombudsman body. But we have other agencies and institutions. Our traditional rulers play a very important role in ensuring that we have peaceful coexistence amongst ourselves, that the weak is protected against the mighty and the strong in a very amicable fashion. I believe that we need the ombudsman institutions in all our countries, and especially in countries where the disparity between those who have and those who don't have, where the weak may be disadvantaged, and of course, because of the financial status, they are not able to go to the regular courts, for example, to seek redress because they can't afford. The ombudsman provides an avenue for intervention, and that creates a better understanding than the courts could create. Because by the time you go to court, one wins and the other loses, the problem is only half solved. The person that would have won the case would be triumphant and happy, but the one that lost would be unhappy and possibly harbor some grudges and even continue to make some appeals. That doesn't lead for peaceful coexistence, even though justice would have been done. So we want a situation where justice creates peaceful coexistence, justice creating brotherhood amongst our diverse people. The National Assembly, the Parliament generally, is the home of all ombudsmen, because we represent people in the Parliament, and in our own little way, as an institution, for example, in Nigeria here in the Senate, we have a committee on public petition. And our committee on public petition receives many, many petitions from the public, especially those who find it easier to come through the National Assembly to make their complaints, probably and mostly because they can't afford to go to court. In fact, our Committee on Public Petitions is arguably the most active. They consider more issues, they present more reports of their investigations, their intermediation to the Senate than almost all the committees. And that is because over the years, we have been able to provide the kind of solutions that make people feel confident and comfortable to come to us to complain. and will continue to do that. The main function of any ombuds body is largely to create that peaceful atmosphere of sorting out problems. In Nigeria, in all the 36 states, we have commissioners, and they are very busy. And in other countries, especially in African countries, I'm sure the situation is the same. People, citizens will come with their different issues, problems, challenges that will require the intervention of either the public protector, like the South Africa is named, or Public Complaints Commission, as we call it in Nigeria. This is to ensure that we have good governance. And good governance is essential for any country to enjoy stability and development. What is critical in a situation of any country going forward is to have understanding between the different peoples, between the different classes of peoples, and especially the weak, the underprivileged, the disadvantaged, and the vulnerable, having confidence in a system that will give them the opportunity to get fairness, to get justice, and fair play. So your roles are very, very important, especially in developing countries, where the issues are always there. And we'll try in whatever way we can to be with you, to support you, so that we are able to, as a continent, for example, in Africa, that we are able to deal with our issues outside the courts wherever it is possible. Human rights is always an issue in a developing country. In Nigeria, only recently, last month, the federal government of Nigeria provided huge funds as a proposal, of course, for the 2020 budget for the National Assembly to consider for the National Human Rights Commission. This is to give the opportunity, the capacity, and the power the human rights organization in Nigeria have for it to attend to these multifarious challenges of ensuring that Nigerians enjoy excellent human rights situation in our country. I'm sure this is one thing that the National Assembly will support fully, and even beyond what the executive has proposed, because we believe that human rights is a right that you can never, or you must never tamper with. People should be in a situation where they feel that they are citizens, they are appreciated, and therefore they can afford to be patriotic and support government in all its programs for development of the country. How a society is able to carry itself should be reflected in how it is able to handle the weak ones in the society, the disadvantaged, and those that are vulnerable. We are glad that in your various ways you are able to bring a sense of justice, a sense of stability and fairness by the institutions you lead. Let me also wish you a very interesting visit to the FCT. When the leader of delegation made his presentation, our own chairman of the chief commissioner of the Ombuds institution, he mentioned he will embark on tourist visit to the FCT. For those that may be visiting the FCT for the first time, the FCT is a melting point of cultures. We have various shades of the FCT. Inside the municipal area, we have the very modern, but we also have our cultures protected, promoted, especially outside of the major city. I believe that the cultures in Africa are almost the same, but the culture here will provide some interesting scenes for the visitors. The last thing I will talk about is your visit to the other ombuds institutions in Nigeria. Our ombuds chairman or chief commissioner mentioned the EFCC, the ICPC. I believe that the Peace and Conflict Resolution Body in Nigeria is one institution that also plays an important role in ensuring that citizens live in peace, that when we have disputes and conflicts, that we're able to resolve them without recourse to the courts. I want to wish you very successful engagements when you meet. I want to also urge you to find time to pay courtesy visits to our traditional rulers who are around the FCT. Because surely the traditional institution in Nigeria plays very significant role in ensuring that citizens have peaceful coexistence, and our royal fathers have always been there to ensure that we live for each other. And with this, I want to once again, on behalf of my colleagues, welcome you to the Senate, and we wish you a very fruitful visit and stay in Abuja and enjoy the environment here in the FCT, especially inside Abuja. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.